when AI generates something, it's actually very good. It's good content, it's very crisp, almost perfection of a language beyond human. It looks machiney. So that's what is the thing. I'm not sure if I can point to certain elements or the AI generated will have this, but AI is very logical. Top to bottom is a very logical flow, and human thought, depending on the writer's ability, could be logical, but we have a little bit more of emotions and our feelings weaved in there versus just a very technical analysis of something.
On November 30th, 2022, OpenAI released a chatbot known as ChatGPT. This is a virtual assistant created using artificial intelligence to answer questions and prompts written by users. However, the increasing use of this chatbot has resulted in controversial discussions regarding its use in academic settings and whether or not it is ethical. Today, we put 3 Monte Vista teachers to the test by seeing whether or not they would be able to recognize the use of AI in essays by giving them each 3 essays. One written by a student, one written by a student but assisted by ChatGPT, and the third being fully AI.
Okay, I think I have an answer.
Okay. Which one do you think is which?
I think this one is AI written. This one is AI supported, and this one is one that you wrote.
That's right. And why do you think each is which?
Yeah, so I mean, I think first of all, this sounds like a teenager at Monte Vista High School. So part of it is just like, knowing how kids write in our community. It sounds like something people would actually say. In the AI version, there is not a lot of depth to the analysis, and it uses words that people just don't use typically in their everyday writing, even if it's for a literary analysis paper. And so it just sounds robotic, whereas this one sounds more human. And this one, I can see how AI assisted, but I think the challenge is that it made it sound less like a teenager at Monte Vista High School. And so it makes it a little less authentic. So I would give this one the highest grade. And then you can see how clear this sentence is. Claudia Rankine uses weather imagery to compare the effect of microaggressions on people of color. That's very clear and direct, whereas you see here, adeptly employs weather imagery to illustrate the impact of microaggressions on people of color. And so I just think the voice is very different, and so you can see that it's like a teenager trying to be a professional literary analysis writer, and this is the one that feels more like a teenager actually wrote it.
Well, my best guess, which is maybe more of a wish or impression/wish, is I'd like to think number 2 is human. So I'll just say 2 is human.
Yeah,
Right?
it is.
Oh, yeah. But I think the biggest sort of stump I had was how 1 and 3 were so similar to each other. And then trying to figure out why would a human do it twice that way, or why would a machine do it twice that way? And that was almost a dead end kind of thing to be thinking about. I want to say number 1 had a little bit more like, I'm still kind of exploring this topic in its tone, whereas 3 just said it as if I know everything. This is everything you need to know about this piece. So I kind of liked how 1 had that searching tone to it. I can't remember what.
Okay, I have a hypothesis that number 1 is a mixture of student and AI, number 2 is AI, and number 3 is student zone.
Okay, so you got number 1 right. That's the one that is both. And then number 2 is student written, and number 3 is AI.
It's AI. Okay,
So, how difficult did you find this activity?
it wasn't difficult. I just wish I had more time to thoughtfully read, because the way machine writes is a little different than the way human writes, and I was trying to pick out on those elements, but I don't think I had enough time to do that.
After the teachers determined which essays were which, we asked them questions regarding the increasing use of AI in academic settings. English curriculum lead Julia Satterwhite believes that the use of AI can be useful in some situations.
for example, if you're writing an email to a professional, like a professor at Stanford or something like that, and you draft your email and then you put it into an AI tool and you say, could you make this more professional? That's a smart way to use AI, right? Like that's a life skill, just making sure that everything sounds polished. It does have the potential to take your authenticity out, and so that's a challenge. But when you're just doing an email to someone and wanting to sound like you know what you're doing, that might be a good use. And I think the challenge is for literature teachers, what are you trying to assess? Are you trying to assess their ability to do the writing? Are you trying to assess evidence selection? Are you trying to assess analysis? And for different literary tasks, you might have different focus.
Similarly, science curriculum lead Kavita Gupta believes that the ethical use of AI depends on teachers and how they wish to address AI use in their course.
Different teachers have different ways that they teach and their students learn, and they may see different uses in their classroom. So I think it should be definitely addressed as to what use of AI is acceptable in their classroom, because if you don't do that, then student may just think that it is okay to use AI, while that for that teacher it might be cheating, right? So I think at the least we need to define policies around the AI use very clearly to our students. If I were in my classroom, of course, now I encourage these things, but even if I were teaching chemistry, I'll encourage the appropriate use and very clearly define the appropriate use of AI in my classroom.
On another note, literature teacher Shozo Shimazaki believes that teachers being involved in the writing process allows for the issue of AI to be condensed.
Being involved, reading and giving feedback throughout the writing process allows me to kind of know the development of the thinking and writing by the student, whereas AI is more of I'm going to spit out the perfect essay from the start, and there's no process you need to be cognizant of, right? So just being able to see the development.
The goal, obviously, is for students to do their own writing. As teachers, we see a lot of students writing, and so if this were like towards the end of first semester or any time in second semester, I would know how that student writes by that point in time, and so I would be able to say, like, this doesn't sound like anything you would write, Dahlia. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So teachers really do read a lot of writing, particularly in English, and get a really solid understanding of the students' grasp on writing and ideas too. And so I think it's pretty easy for teachers to kind of identify when something is entirely not written by them.
Gupta dismisses the fear that AI might take over specific job opportunities such as being a teacher, and rather emphasizes its use in order to make people's jobs easier.
AI is coming, it is going to be used, it will change the way we do business here. I do not subscribe to the idea that AI will ever replace teachers or reduce the demand of what teachers are doing, but I can see AI being a really good enhancement or enrichment tool, which can add to a very choppy email. Can you just, these are the ideas I want to put forth, how do you do it? Or in science, for chemistry especially, I explored AI a little and saw what it could do. It's very good with logical analysis or mathematical problem solving, but I asked it to make particulate level diagrams. That's where it miserably failed, because it kept taking me to the boiling point elevation and freezing point depression, which is far from what I was looking at. So I think wherever there is multiple answer or gray areas, that's where the system will need to train itself more till it can put out information with any accuracy. So I think I really feel in future the jobs and the opportunities where more human gray area is needed will come to surface more, because that's where AI won't be able to do much, because AI is based on logic and algorithms, and it'll get smarter, and how smart, we'll have to live and learn.